This is that part where we're humming along, we're watching baseball, we're having fun, we're just watching the game. It's a fun game. We've devoted our lives to it, and now there's controversy, right? And so now there's a sticky situation, literally, figuratively, around the league, and everyone is talking about pitchers using foreign substances to get a better grip on the ball. So we have to address it. We have to come from a player's perspective, kind of pick your brain, and we have to talk about what in the heck is going on. Because to me, before the season, it was like a non-story. The story was that everyone's doing it. Everyone sort of knows it's a wink-wink situation. And now it's blown up into this scandal controversy thing, which I was not expecting before the season. So you have thoughts. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts, and I have questions too. First off, like, what is MLB's exact like reason? Why are they going after this? What are they looking for exactly? Because there's so much. This is deeper than just like, foreign substances or sticky or whatever. Because there's a lot to do with it, and it's almost going to be impossible to completely erase. I'm gonna say that, like, and I'll get to the deeper details, but I want to hear like MLB's reason, like what they're saying. I hear, obviously there's some new systems. So I just want to hear kind of what has been the talk, because I haven't been listening to that. I've just been following the teams, the scores, the box scores, and all the stuff that I enjoy. So I just want to hear what's the buzz. What's your thoughts on it as a fan?
It's weird. It all of a sudden it doesn't feel like manufactured controversy isn't the right word for it, but it does seem deliberate, and I'm not sure why. Is it in the old days, it was a rosin, it was sunscreen, it was whatever you had on, you were creative, stuff like that. And now there are like actual chemists working on stuff that pro power lifters use, stuff that you can have a cinder block hanging from your hand, like stuff I just can't go to CVS and buy. Like that is the stuff that is being used a lot now. And has baseball decided, oh well, that's too far, now we got to cross the line, now it's really offense is down, we got to figure this out? Or I don't know, like, how is it just all of a sudden the biggest of the big deal? Is it the effectiveness of the substances?
You know what? Maybe that's what it is when I hear you say that, because you brought up at the very beginning of that, you said, rosin and sunscreen, which like you're sweating and you get grip from that. You can get grip from like so many things like cough drops. But when, and I do think that maybe it has come to where there's like chemists that, that are going in and they're mastering the whole spin rate thing, since that's become a thing. And, maybe some of these substances are invisible. And I think of it like sometimes you watch like wide receivers' gloves and you see the ball just like stick to their hand. Is that like their hands have suction cups, or is there like some kind of invisible sticky? Or the referees going over all of that? I don't know. I don't never played football, but I definitely am impressed with a lot of those gloves and how they catch the ball. But they are also like crazy good at it. So, maybe that's what it is, because I do think that there is more science to it. I do think that they're being able to do like some amazing stuff with the science of baseball and the science of this. But how are you going to actually find this invisible substance? And at the end of the day, like you can get hair gel, most pitchers, if you watch them, almost every ball they get, like, especially like really good pitchers, like they'll grow like a fingernail really long or something. And, they'll rub the ball really hard, make sure they get the seams wherever they want it. It's part of the craft. The craft of pitching is deception. And I'll be honest, like, and I think this is what this whole, I guess, movement is going to do, is it's going to make it where if you have this invisible, like hyper sticky, and they go and test you, they're going to find it. But if you have like, to me, it's like rosin and sunscreen is going to give you grip where, you're sweating and you're throwing 100 miles an hour. The ball's not just going to slip right out of your hands. Cause like me as a hitter, I wanted them to have grip on the ball. I wanted them to know where the ball is going. And I think that's what like most of the grip does for these guys. And until, like you said, like when you bring up the chemist and then like getting like, hyper spin rate growth, because like all pitchers are studying, how can I improve my spin rate? Because this is what deception is. So there's just so much to it that it's like really tough to figure out, like, what are they attacking? How are they going to attack it? And like, I want the pitcher to have grip on the ball so that he knows where it's going, because that's the game of cat and mouse that I want to play. Does that make sense to you at all, Grant?
Absolutely. No, I was going to ask you about that if you didn't bring it up, because I remember reading a quote and I can't remember who it was from, but they said, look, I want these pitchers to have better command of their release point. I want these pitchers to, if they're going to pitch inside, have confidence that they're going to put it where they want it without having it slip out of their hands. Now, is there a tipping point where they're increasing the spin rate so much to make a 98-mile-per-hour four-seamer seem like a wiffle ball or something? You know, like a four-seamer act like a two-seamer? I mean, that's a different story. But overall, like, you want pitchers to have some sort of substance to get that ball out of their hands the way that they want it. Do you think that it's a possibility that there is just one universal substance that MLB settles on and says, here it is, here are buckets of it, this is the one, anything above that, no go, but this is the league-wide sanctioned substance?
I think it's a slippery slope, and because there's so many ways to manipulate the baseball, and like I said, there's like hair gels, you can get slippery stuff there. There's just so many like invisible and like easy things to do, that it's just like it's going to be super tough to mandate. And like at the end of the day, there's a lot of money on the line. There's a lot of stress on the line. So there's just going to be so many things happening there. But I don't know, like maybe we do call like about like, because hitters get to use pine tar to make sure they grip the bat, and that adds safety to the game, so we're not like throwing it into the stands. And I mean, is it a performance enhancer? I don't know, but I do think that gripping the bat definitely helps your performance. But me personally, like I said, there are pitchers that that will have so much sticky in their hand that they can like hold their hand out and the ball will just like hang, like you can just like hold the ball with your hand. So what does that actually do for them? I don't know. I guess it adds some spin rate, but I thought that was part of the, not necessarily like, oh, I want everyone to like do this and whatever, like cut the ball and make it all of a sudden now the baseball is a wiffle ball or sandpaper and whatnot. And all sorts of things have happened. So it's definitely a challenging thing that baseball's got, like, obviously they've made their decision and they're going in this direction, but I never am like going off on some pitcher that, oh, he did this or did that. And I wanted them to have grip. I wanted them to, I enjoy, like, it's part of the fun is how nasty some of their stuff is. And you can find a way to hit all of it. And I just wanted them to know where the ball was going. I wanted to feel safe in there and enjoy the competition of hitter versus batter. And I think when they know where the ball is going and, they can ramp up and throw it as hard as they want, you can hit it. And yeah, they're going to have good numbers, but they're going to get hit. Every pitcher has an ERA, even DeGrom with one of the most dominant, first couple of starts it's not a whole 1 ERA, but he's still giving up some runs.
Oh, every 18 innings, he gives up 1 run every time. No, that I did, but so that's like the theory of Hunter Pence, right? I can hit anyone. You come at me, bro. Basically, is
well, they can get me out. Almost anyone can get me out too. That's like,
sure.
Hitting is very tough. Like they're going to get me out more than I can hit them. But I want them to know where the ball is going. I get to like you have an idea of their movement. That's the cat and mouse game that I want to play. I don't want to play a game where this guy's just throwing it as hard as he can, has no grip, and the ball's just flying everywhere. And you're more like you're mainly dodging and just like that's and there's pitchers that a lot of times it's young pitchers that haven't learned how to use the sticky or whatever, or even like, because the ball in the major leagues is so much different than a minor league ball. The seams are different. I will say this, that I didn't even know what a sinker was when I was in the minor leagues. Everyone talked about a sinker. And I was just like, what is a sinker? They're all just fastballs. And then I got to the big leagues and I found out what a sinker was, because the big league ball moves so much more than any other ball I had ever seen, just because the seams are actually a lot tighter to the ball. And so like college balls and then even the minor leagues balls, the seams kind of pop up a little more. And you would think that made the ball move more, but for whatever reason, this tighter ball in the majors, like it takes off and you definitely recognize movement. It's hard to throw that thing straight.
You've said that you don't mind, hey, load up, do your thing. What about other players that you've played with, other hitters, teammates? Have you heard some teammates grumble like, oh, God, that guy's loaded up, that guy is doing this to the ball? Is it a thing that happens in the dugout or clubhouse, or is it just kind of manufactured?
I mean, I don't think I remember a story playing against Chipper and Chipper laughing after facing a pitcher that he knew and was friends with and was like, yeah, you threw me that cheater ball, and just like laughing with him about it, like, like that one was moving a lot. What the heck did you do to that thing? Like, I can't speak for every hitter, and, maybe some of them do take offense to it. And, I just, like I said, I want the pitcher to know where it's going. I think I don't know. I don't know what hitters says, what, like, no, don't get a decent grip on the ball. And, there's a balance to everything, right? There's a crossing of the line, and how do you navigate that balance? Life is a tough balance in and of itself. So my main thoughts is that, like, no matter what rules or how they mandate it, pitching is deception. These pitchers are going to find a way to get a grip. They need to. I don't think it's as big a deal as everyone's making it out to be, other than it's like, we do need to find a solution for this drama that we've started.